Yo, what's up YouTube? It's the one and only legend of winning, aka Low, and I'm back again with another video. This video right here is part 2 of the winners and losers of the NBA offseason. If you missed part 1, which means that you missed the losers part, you can do 2 things to catch up. First and foremost, go to my channel, please subscribe so you can be updated always when I upload a video. Second thing that you can do is just click the annotation, because I'm probably going to leave it somewhere, but please just subscribe so you'll be constantly updated on the great videos that I upload all the time on this channel. Also, for bonus points, you can go follow me on Twitter. There I will update you about an hour to maybe even a whole day before I upload the video, so for sure you will know when I will be uploading vids. But like I said before, last video was the 4 losers of the NBA offseason, so this video right here, of course, will be the 4 winners of the NBA offseason. Also, just like last video, please leave a comment in the comment section below if you feel like I left any teams off or you feel like you disagree with me. And as always, please leave a like on the video if you enjoy the content. Please subscribe to be updated all the times when I upload the videos, and follow me on Twitter. But without further ado, here are the 4 winners of the NBA offseason. Now hear me out on this one right here, because I already know a lot of people are going to leave dislikes on this video because the Los Angeles Lakers are top 4, but in my opinion they really did have a pretty good offseason this year. Also, I am very willing to take the hate because it's very well noted that I am a Los Angeles fan, so I may be a tad bit biased when it comes to the moves that the Lakers make in the offseason. But truth be told, I really do believe they had a pretty good offseason compared to a lot of other teams, and here's why. First and foremost, they got rid of Coach Byron Scott, somebody that a lot of people question his philosophy when it came to the playing time of the young players. Everybody from fans to major media outlets to the actual players on the team was really frustrated with the lack of explanation to why Byron Scott wasn't given the playing time to a lot of these young guys. Also, it's very clear that the team is moving forward in a different direction, so I don't really believe that Byron Scott would have been the best fit for this team, but it does seem like Luke Walton may be that guy. Now, if you didn't know, Luke Walton was an ex-Laker in his day. He won a few rings with the one and only Kobe Bryant, and as we probably all know at this point, he did help coach, if not was the coach for at least half of the season of the Golden State Warriors last year, the team that actually ended up going 73-9. So yes, I do believe that is a huge upgrade when it comes to the coaching position. Next thing that happened for the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA offseason was the NBA draft, and there they ended up getting the 2nd pick in the lottery, which translated into Brandon Ingram. This is huge for the Lakers because if they weren't top 3, then their pick would have went to the 76ers, and they would have forfeited a pick, which a team that is in the middle of rebuilding just flat out doesn't need to happen to them. Now we move over to the free agent signing when it comes to the offseason, and this is where a lot of people have major questions. The 4-year, $64 million contract that was thrown towards Timothy Mozgov from the Cleveland Cavaliers was major L's handed to the Los Angeles Lakers. And as a Laker fan, I cannot deny that is a tad bit too much for Mozgov. But to be completely honest with people, when you start to compare his contract to a lot of other players' contract who got signed in the offseason this year, such as Ian Mahimi, then his contract actually makes somewhat a little bit of sense. Also, signing on veteran Luol Deng to a pretty major contract is also fairly questionable, but his veteran leadership along with his intensity on defense and the culture of Tibbs, bringing that onto the team with a whole bunch of young guys will probably be better suited for the core of this team. But the biggest signing that the Lakers had this offseason was Jordan Clarkson. Clarkson, who was a 24-year-old guard and a restricted free agent, actually ended up deciding to just stay with the Lakers instead of weighing out his option. And crazy enough, the Lakers actually got him on a pretty solid contract. 4 years, $50 million is actually really reasonable, if not a budget contract for a player who had a lot of promise and a lot of other people looking at him when it came to the offseason. Now, I don't believe this team will make the playoffs, but I don't believe they'll be the worst team or one of the worst teams in the NBA playoffs. With a lineup of D'Angelo Russell, Jordan Clarkson, Luol Deng, Julius Randle, Timothy Mozgov, and Brandon Ingram coming off the bench, I do believe that they are making the right step in the right direction. And compared to a lot of other teams in the NBA offseason this year, they actually did pretty good. So heading into the NBA offseason, there was a lot of speculation going on when it came to the Indiana Pacers, and rightfully so. Larry Bird made a very bold move in firing Frank Vogel, and a lot of people was questioning that because, to be completely honest with you, Frank Vogel is arguably top 5 or top 10 coach in the NBA right now. Also, you had statements in the media where Paul George was basically saying he wouldn't mind playing for another team, and on top of that, the roster really and truly didn't look all that talented. But crazy enough, the Indiana Pacers pushed through all of that and made some pretty major moves in this offseason. First and foremost, they got involved in a 3-team trade that ended up getting them Jeff Teague, and in the process, they ended up losing George Hill. Now, regardless of how you feel about George Hill or Jeff Teague, I can tell you this, I do feel like Jeff Teague is a better suit for the offense that they probably will be running with Nick McMillan. On top of that, Larry Bird has been very vocal on how he wants this team to continue to push the pace, which is why Jeff Teague is a better suit for this organization. Next, they traded away a draft pick to get Thaddeus Young from the Brooklyn Nets, who, in my opinion, is one of the more underrated players in the league. Thaddeus Young is a 6'8", 6'9" combo forward that's going to help you out on the rebound and also be able to keep up with you on fast breaks. Also, this allows Paul George to continue to play the small forward position, which he was quite vocal about wanting to continue to play, even though Larry Bird was pushing him towards the power forward position. And to top everything off in the NBA offseason, the Indiana Pacers ended up getting Al Jefferson on a pretty solid contract. The 31-year-old veteran coming from Charlotte now lands himself in the Indiana Pacers with a 3-year, $30 million contract. And to be completely honest with you, that is pretty good for what Al Jefferson will be able to bring for this team. Now, what type of player he's going to be 3 years down the road, I really don't know, but for $10 million a year, you really can't complain. So for a team that exceeded expectations in the NBA season and also in the playoffs, taking the Toronto Raptors to a 7-game series in the first round, they continue to do so in the NBA offseason. Other acquisitions such as Aaron Brooks and Jeremy Evans does nothing more but add depth to a team that majorly needed it last year. Hopefully the major change in Indiana pushed them over the hump into the second round, and hopefully they can continue to grow throughout the regular season and in next year's offseason. Now, the New York Knicks had one of the biggest off seasons in recent history, and rightfully so. This is a team that consistently disappoints its fans and consistently disappoints the quote-unquote mecca of basketball, which is the city of New York. And with consistent criticism towards Phil Jackson and Carmelo Anthony, change needed to happen, and it needed to happen not only soon, but in a major way. And right off the bat, they got this with the Derrick Rose trade. Now, in my opinion, I already made a video about this, and I truly believe it actually helped both teams, but for sure the Knicks came out really strong. Trading away players such as Robin Lopez and Jose Calderon for, in return, a former MVP in Derrick Rose is a major win for this team. And with Derrick Rose on the team, it became easier to persuade Joakim Noah to sign on, which he ended up doing. Now, a lot of people criticize the contract that Noah ended up getting simply because you don't know what you're going to get out of him because of injuries. But if push turns to shove, to be completely honest with you, they can move Porzingis down to 5, play Melo at 4, and just limit Noah's minutes. After that, they ended up signing the veteran shooting guard in Courtney Lee, a simple 3-and-D guy, which I believe is a great move for this team. I honestly believe if they would have ended up signing Dwayne Wade, I think that would have hurt them more than helped them, and so I think they actually came out pretty good when it came to their shooting guard options. But just like the two teams before, they ended up getting a budget baller in Brandon Jennings. A 1-year, $5 million contract for a starter in this league now is coming off the bench for the New York Knicks. And of course, this is good for two reasons. One, obviously, this is only a 1-year contract, $5 million, not really that much invested in Brandon Jennings. And two, if push come to shove and Derrick Rose isn't really working out, or if injuries start to plague Rose in the middle of the season, it doesn't hurt you that much if you put Brandon Jennings in the starting position. But crazy enough, with all of that being said, I wholeheartedly believe that the biggest acquisition they had this offseason was Jeff Hornacek. Coaching is a very important part of the NBA, and I think it's even more underrated than ever before, and the perfect example of this is Jeff Hornacek. Jeff Hornacek just left the Phoenix Suns, and for the past few years, the Suns were projected to be one of the worst teams in the NBA. But with coaching from Jeff Hornacek, that team consistently made 9th or 10th seed and almost made the playoffs in the Western Conference. And I truly believe that Jeff Hornacek will not only be able to bring his system and have it succeed in New York, but he will also push this team into the playoffs and hopefully be very scary for a lot of teams in the East. So for a team that didn't even make the playoffs last year and had Carmelo Anthony and a lot of other people questioning what the hell the team was doing, they completely turned it around within a year, and they're making major moves to propel them into the playoffs and hopefully far deep into the playoffs. Hopefully this team can make a lot of noise in the playoffs. Derrick Rose plays well, Joakim Noah goes back to his old Joakim Noah ways, and Carmelo can play great basketball, because as we all know, basketball is a whole lot better when the Knicks play well. Now, of course, the Golden State Warriors are going to be the #1 team. No surprise here, honestly, just because they got Kevin Durant on his team. Last year, they went 73-9, breaking the single season record for the most wins. And having Kevin Durant on this team is literally just like a cheat code in a video game. It's ridiculous. Now, a lot of people have some speculations and some concerns about this team. The two biggest things I've heard is, one, how will the chemistry work out on this team with all of these players on it on the same time? And two, they lost a lot of depth. Now, when it comes to the depth, I really don't agree with that. I mean, Barbosa, Harrison Barnes, Festus Ezeli, Brandon Rush, Maurice Spates, all of those players were solid, especially Barbosa when it came to the playoffs. But to be completely honest with you, they really weren't that big of a deal, especially because they ended up adding Zaza Pachulia, David West, and Anderson Varejao ended up signing back to the team. On top of that, they still have Sean Livingston and Andre Iguodala, so it wasn't really that much depth that was lost. However, I am concerned of who's going to be backing up as shooting guard, because there's not really nobody there anymore. Also, when it comes to chemistry, this is a more legitimate argument in my opinion. When it comes to the chemistry on this team, I don't really know what they're going to do, and it may be some growing pains in the first few months of the NBA season for the Golden State Warriors. Of course, we saw this early Miami Heat Big Three era where Chris Bosh was getting hit in the face with a basketball because everybody wasn't on the same page. But to be completely honest with you, I don't think that's what's going to happen on this team, simply because Kevin Durant fits rather well on this team. Also, on top of that, when it comes to egos and touches and how many shots Kevin Durant and Steph Curry is going to take, I really and truly don't believe that's going to be that big of an issue anyway, especially when it comes to Kevin Durant, because when he made this decision, I'm pretty sure he sat down and thought to himself that his touches and his minutes and the numbers that he's going to be put up will be minimized simply because he's already playing for a really great team. So even though I do believe there will be some growing pains in the first few months for this team, I believe they'll just turn it around within a few games and they'll play rather well. And I actually do believe that this team will end up winning the NBA Finals, but it is pretty early to make that accusation, so I'll just step back a little bit. But for right now, we do know for a fact that the Golden State Warriors ended up having the best NBA offseason this year. And with all that being said, those are the 4 winners of the NBA offseason. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on the video. It helps me out a lot. Also, if you want to be updated on the videos that I upload on this channel, please subscribe. Also, follow me on Twitter so you can be updated even more when I upload these videos on my channel. But before I end this video, I want to give a shout out to everybody who's watching my videos and my channel and who subscribe. Man, it's crazy because I don't even have 1,000 subs yet, or I know I do have 1,000 subs. I just got 1,000 subs, and this channel is growing at a ridiculous rate. I literally uploaded a video probably about a month ago talking about Steph Curry that almost has 100,000 views. If you haven't seen that video, please go to that channel and please go to my channel and go watch that video, because it's a pretty good video. I put a lot of effort in these videos. Hopefully that y'all like it, hopefully that y'all will be entertained, and hopefully we can continue to talk about basketball throughout the off season, because it's going to be boring as hell. Football is right around the corner, I know, but I don't really want to watch baseball and I don't like watching NASCAR, so we're talking about basketball. Also, if you have any ideas for a video, please leave that in the comment section below. And as well, if you think that I missed a team for the 4 winners or losers, also put that in the comment section below. But again, like I said before, I want to thank everybody for watching my videos. It really means a lot to me, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.